Now, I have a question for you. How long do you think it takes to make a short film? You might say, well, that depends. If you take into account the planning, the writing, the shooting, the editing, and everything in between. How long do you think? 5 days? A week? 2 weeks? A month even? You've seen those big fancy cameras that's not so fancy because they weigh about 500 pounds. And oh, don't even get me started on film cameras. Sure, they might be amazingly stunning in post, but it will absolutely drain your bank account. Just saying. Well, what if I told you I'm challenging myself to make a film in 48 hours? That's all I get. Starting from scratch, from 9 a.m. one day to 9 a.m. in 2 days. Now, there's a few issues that I will be facing. Problem number 1, it's just me. I'm doing everything, and I mean everything. The planning, the writing, the shoot, the filming, the editing, all by myself. Well, you might say that's easy. I've seen plenty of YouTubers do that, but me? I'm against the clock here. It is officially 9:02 a.m. on Sunday, January 8th, and the challenge has started. Okay, think. What if I wrote something with like a shit ton of metaphors that's super cliche and definitely something you've heard before? That might be funny. It was a dark and stormy night. No, that's not it. Once upon a time. No, that's not it either. Ideas. I find a lot of humor in stereotypes because honestly they're just stereotypes. I'm honestly just rambling because I'm seeing if it'll help me with an idea faster. Or maybe I can write about like success or something motivational. Dude, how more cliche can I get? Achievements, accomplishments. I feel like they mean the same thing, but what sounds better? Notoriety? Does that sound pretentious? That sounds pretentious. I'm keeping it. God, this is harder than I thought. This will be a lot easier if I was actually good at writing. As I let my mind run a bit, I started to gain some momentum for a story. Now, I just had to double down and write. You'd be surprised at how much you can write without any distractions. I knew if I had a good enough story, I can spend the rest of my time filming and editing, which takes the longest. Yes, okay, I just finished writing the story part. I made quite a bit of progress, as you can see. It's there. I promise it's there. No spoilers. I was like tunnel vision. I was like writing like my life depended on it. I was in flow state. So now I have the written narrative part of the film. Now I need to figure out the visual narrative part. Man, this is gonna be a lot harder than I thought. See, the thing with writing, sometimes you can't always force what you want to tell, or else you're just gonna be stuck at a dead end, like I am right now. But you know what? That's the beauty of it. At this point, I was already starting to feel fatigue, but because of the time limit I'm on, I couldn't decide on whether or not I wanted to take a break, because of the very little amount of progress I made. I still had no idea what I was going to write. The challenge isn't done until I hit export, and I didn't want to waste any time. And I also didn't factor in any breaks this early in my plan. Man, forcing ideas is not the way to go. But progress is still progress, so... I need to figure out how I want to structure the visual. Structure was going to be a lot harder than I thought. A lot of my time spent on figuring out the structure of the story was me just staring at a blank white page. So I just wrote out a bunch of different structures to see if the story I'm trying to tell fits into one of them. I knew that this was an important part to make the process easier. I was trying to figure out the structure of the visual part of the story, but I realized I'm not going to have enough time, so I'm going to try my best to write the story and structure it at the same time. That doesn't make sense, but I'm going with it. So I just wasted a bunch of time on nothing. Alright, I'm gonna look for a soundtrack. So I'm using Epidemic Sound, not sponsored, but I really like their selections. So let's see what we can find. No. 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 You know what I think the purest form of artistry is? Is artistry a word? Yes. Duh, you dumb idiot. Of course, I knew that. I think if you can paint or draw and you can do it well, then you are a true artist. Like the purest form of art. Why? Well, let me tell you why. So let's say with music artists, you can hear the emotion in the music. It tells a story through sound and emotion. With filmmakers, it's imagery. It evokes emotion and also tells a story visually. It's important to know pacing and maybe even sound if there's music or sound effects. With photographers, it's kind of the same as filmmakers for the visual part, but on a lesser scale, but still tells a story through visual and emotion. An artist who draws, that's like all the genres of art that I just mentioned combined into one. They see something that no one else sees and they put it on paper. That to me is true talent. Same with dancing. Oh my god. Dancing. Those two. Dancing and drawing. I think that is on a whole new level of just pure forms of art. Double D's. That's just my opinion. You can agree if you want, but anyways, I digress. You know, there was one song that I've kind of been wanting to do. Oh. This is it. Oh man, the story just wrote itself right there. This is where I tried to let the rest of the process flow on its own. I had the idea, I had the script, now I just had to film and edit, but I didn't know if I was gonna have enough time. Cover that. No free brand deals here, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm using Epidemic Sound. When you're filming by yourself, it's not always easy adjusting the camera and knowing if you're in frame. But I figured out that I can use my phone as a wireless transmitter so I can see myself through my camera using my phone. And so I tested this out beforehand because I sure as hell didn't want to mess it up by using the wrong settings. So as you can see, I connected my phone to my camera and it works pretty well. As you can see, it's a bit laggy, but I'm using my home Wi-Fi. So if I change up the Wi-Fi settings a bit to Easy Connect instead of selecting your own network, I can input the network connection information into my phone Wi-Fi, and boom, it works 10 times better, faster, more responsive. The cereal slaps. Although I did just buy props, I needed something that was already made for me. Something just waiting to serve a purpose. So I went to the closest place that I knew they had what I needed. Hey buddy, are you using this? Can I borrow this? Great, thanks, bye!
Sure, okay.
As I was filming the scenes, I felt my ideas developing as I went along. You might have noticed that I didn't give much context to the story. I only take you through the process of the scenes. I try not to focus on the story as a whole or think too far ahead because I didn't want to get overwhelmed. I just tried to focus on what I was doing in that moment and seeing what I can add. Alright guys, last few parts of the film, I'm recording a little time lapse over there, and conveniently my air purifier is like the perfect height to stand my big camera because this tripod does not this tripod does not hold my big camera over there. So yeah, I'm extremely tired. I've been filming all day. I will see you tomorrow. Good night. Hey guys, it is day 2 right now, Monday, 12 p.m. Sorry I forgot to record, but I'm on my way to the city to film apart for the film, obviously. The sun is in my eyes and I didn't bring sunglasses, so I'm just like, oh. But beautiful day. For some reason, the anxiety got to me and I was on edge the whole day. This clip right here is completely unusable. It's crooked and you can't see me because the shot is too far. I don't know if it was because I was scared that someone might just come up and snatch my camera, or I was just stressing about the film. The reality is, not everything you plan ends up working out. And I made the mistake of not rewatching the footage back, so I just went home and edited for the rest of the day. But then, I hit a wall. I did exactly what I wasn't supposed to do, and kept rewatching my footage over and over and over and over again. I wanted it to be perfect, so I started to doubt myself. I kept re-editing parts that didn't need to be edited. I was overthinking the story to a point where I started to hate it. I was scared. I couldn't help but think that I wasn't going to finish it in time, and I was scared that I was rushing myself instead of thinking about quality, and I wanted to quit. But then I started to think, if I got this far in the process, then why did I start in the first place? Good morning. It is 8 a.m. Time to finish the edit. It's easy to give up. This part stems from always trusting myself first. As artists, we dare ourselves to fail. I know that this is just a bump in the road. I know that even if this isn't my best piece of work, I wanted to prove myself that I could do it. I know what I'm capable of. I know it's easier said than done when you feel like your mind is telling you otherwise. But you just have to keep going. The work is done.
Are you paying attention? Good. Don't blink. You might miss it. It's common to say that you play basketball. You play football. You play soccer. You don't play being a creator. To put yourself in the spotlight is not something for the weak-minded. Because the willingness of being center stage to the public eye is necessary to stay relevant. A creator pours their heart out in making something that is so personal. Sometimes it's the very people who no one imagines anything of, who do the things that no one can imagine. Artists define talent. Admire the success, but recognize the journey. Achievements do not come easy, and the notoriety does not come cheap. Think you have it in you? Line up, because there are thousands of people who obsess about it. You can have all the talent in the world, but are you obsessed? Is it all you ever think about? With every second, every minute of every day. Nothing that's worth having is ever easy. The sky is the limit. Don't be afraid of failure. Your journey begins now. And maybe, just maybe, you will achieve greatness after all.